In this question, we have a situation where we will end up with a triangle. And the part of this question that gives people difficulty is they don't understand what the directions mean. So I'll show you how to make a triangle from the information given in the question. So first thing when you have a question like this is you read it over. So Ted decided to ski to a friend's cabin. He skied 15.2 kilometers in the direction of south 25 degrees east. He rested, then he skied north 50 degrees east and arrived at the cabin. The cabin is 22.4 kilometers from his home as the crow flies. So that's a straight line from where he started to where he finished. Determine the nearest tenth of a kilometer, the distance he traveled on the second leg of the trip. So to do this, we have to start with what I say a crosshairs, our north, south, east, and west, and we draw our first line. So he skied 15.2 kilometers in the direction of south 25 degrees east. So south is down and then east is to the right. So we have to rotate it 25 degrees to the right of down. So this angle right here would be 25 degrees. And then we just approximate 15.2 kilometers. Next, we need a new crosshairs at that point. And we now are skiing north 50 kilometers, north 50 degrees east. So north is up, but east is still right. So it'll be north and rotating to the east 50 kilometers. So this right here would be 50. Now this angle was 25, and this angle would also be 25 because we have parallel lines. So this angle altogether would be 75, and we're going to use that later. Next, we make a triangle out of this. And our triangle is that red line is the 22.4 kilometers from the home. Once we have the triangle, the rest actually is fairly easy. We label it, all the information that we know. We started at home, we skied 15.2 kilometers, and we rested, and we ended up at the cabin, and we're now 22.4 kilometers from home. So quite clearly we can see from the information that's given, we know a side and an angle that are across from each other, and we know this other side. So from that, we can solve whatever question is being asked. We can find out what this angle is, we can find out what this angle is, we can find out what this side is. So we look at the question and we say, determines the nearest tenth of a kilometer, the distance he traveled on the second leg of the trip. So that would be right here, the green line would be, I call it H because it's across from angle H. And then we solve it. So the setup is the most difficult part for people. The rest now is just doing what you do whenever you have this situation. We have a non-right angle triangle. We're going to either use the law of sines or the law of cosines. So because we're looking for side H, we really can't find side H yet because all we know is this angle and side, and we know the blue side. So the only thing we can find is the angle across from that side. So we use the law of sines to find out what side angle C is. And once we know that angle C is 41 degrees, just by doing the math like we do with every other question, we now know two angles of the triangle. And once you know two angles of the triangle, you can always find the third angle by doing simple subtraction from 180 degrees. So 180 subtract 75, subtract 41 gives you 64. And that's what angle H will equal. So the last thing we need to find out now is side H, and that is the side that is across from angle H. So again, we set up the law of sines. and we solve for h. And because 64 is smaller than 75, our number should be a little bit smaller than 22 kilometers. So I got 20.8 kilometers. Again, the most difficult part of this question is the setup. How do you set it up? So give that a try.